Ammon Bundy spending a few minutes with us this morning on Magic Valley this morning on News Radio 96.1 FM, 1310 KLIX, and News Radio 1310.com. 24 at 4 minutes after 8 o'clock. And Bill Colley with you, too. I'm here until 10 a.m. And I think you'd have to have been living on the moon over the last 6 to 8 months to not know that Ammon Bundy is a candidate for governor in Idaho, running in the Republican primary coming up in May. And he's got an event coming up tonight in Twin Falls, or later today in Twin Falls. He's going to be sharing some details about that with us. First of all, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bill.
Always good to talk to you. I tell people around the country that I know, because you are the best-known candidate running for governor in Idaho. I tell them that you are one of the most fascinating people I get to talk to from time to time. So when you're usually here, I notify them so they can tune in and listen online as well. This evening, is it this evening or just later today, you've got an event coming up in Twin Falls?
It's this evening at 6. It's going to be at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center. And it's at 6 p.m. We'll spend a couple hours together, and I've got a lot to say. And I don't just say, things. I actually show people, and got a good presentation, and I think it'll be well worth people's time if they'll come and spend the time to listen and talk with me.
There's no fee, right? They just have to drop by?
No, there's no fee. It's open, and we've got it organized, so it'll be an event that won't be a waste of your time. I think you'll get a lot out of it.
And a lot of what you've been doing with these events, as I understand it, you've been streaming them too as well. So if you were doing an event, let's say a week from now, if you were doing an event in Teton County, or you were doing an event, let's say in Coeur d'Alene, a lot of this people can just follow it online, can't they?
Yeah. We've been making sure that we, record everything and stream it, and then making it available for people. So, you can go to votebundy.com and then go to the news and click through, our events, click on it, and then actually watch the event there. Each one's different, and people ask different questions, and the topics are different. So there's a lot of information there. And one thing about it, I'm not hiding behind anything that I'm saying. I'm being very open with it and creating a lot of conversation and, gaining a lot of support that way.
I was going to say, you mentioned gaining support. I was having a conversation yesterday with the Republican chairman here in Twin Falls County, and he was rattling off the numbers that people have when they've come to when it comes to fundraising. And it appears that you have not only pulled even, but you're pretty much neck and neck with the two other challengers that who are likely going to face Governor Little if he ever makes an announcement. But so you managed in a very short span of time. So I think the last time we talked, you closed the gap when it came to fundraising.
Yeah, and it's a grassroots thing. Our support has been tremendous, and it's been spread throughout a lot of different people. And because we haven't got like these huge, max amount of donations. I mean, we have, but not like, that's not the main core of what we have. But we have a support, and we're very organized in our campaign, and it's been amazing. I mean, I've never run a campaign before, but we've raised more money than the other leading candidates besides Little. When you take out the personal money, we've raised more money than anybody else, and that just goes to show that our message is being received, and people are excited about what I'm saying, and I'm willing to lay it out there and say, look, this is what I believe in. If you can support me in that, that's what I'm asking.
Well, I was going to point out too, people that might be sitting on the fence when it comes to your campaign. One thing they should know is the big donors, that is the donor class, they're not the type of people who are donating to your campaign. They're mainly smaller donations. So you could make an argument you're not going to be owned by anyone in a suit and tie somewhere else in the country.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You have the element of PACs too. So you've got, these other candidates, and I'm not saying all of them because I just don't know that, but we have these PACs that really campaign and support a candidate too, and they've got a special interest for doing that. And I'm not beholding in any way. I belong to the people as a candidate. my entire purpose is to restore power back to the people and to get the people back in charge of their government. That is what this is really all about, giving the people a choice.
It was 2 weeks ago or so. I read one of the releases from your campaign, and you were on board with this proposal. It's gotten a little bit of discussion, I think, inside the legislature, but to eliminate property tax in Idaho. And the first question a lot of people had was, how do you do that? You've been doing some research and looking at ways that you could make the change and still not put the state out of business.
Yeah. So when I announced in June of 2021, one of the five main topics that I brought up and said I'm going to tackle was the elimination of property tax. And what that's done, Bill, is that's created a conversation that was never there before. And then of course the rise, and we knew that the rise of property taxes was going to become something that was very important to people in Idaho, and it is, as our property are being reassessed and sometimes doubled 3 times, and now the taxes are being connected to that, and they're starting to realize that, hey, this is a really bad thing, bad situation that we're in. So I've proposed this from the very beginning, clear back when we created our Keep Idaho plan to eliminate property tax and replace it with a consumption tax, so that basically at the time of purchase you would pay a tax, and then that tax could be rolled into the mortgage if you want, and then there is no tax after that. And if you do the math, it more than compensates for the legitimate expenses of your local government. So it does what property tax does without you taking the risk of losing your home to the state.
How's that being received? I'm sure that just among rank and file people out there who are dealing with these increases, it's being received well, but I got to think that there's some special interests out there who are giving you somewhat of a hard time about this idea.
So, believe it or not, it is being received, all across the state by people, and they're very excited about it. And the special interests, those that kind of might want to oppose it, are having a very hard time opposing it, because I am mathematically showing them, and through the process of showing them how doing it this way more than funds the needs of legitimate government. And it really comes down to that, it would be a certain percentage that would be locked in, that when that percentage would be due at the time of the purchase, and it's a set percentage, and then a house sells in Idaho 3 to 5 times in a 30-year period. So, as property keeps selling and as things keep moving like they always have, each time the county and the state gets those funds, and also it funds the development. Like if you were to open up some land and it sold, or if you're to develop some land and it sold, that would immediately give a boost to the county up front, rather than having to get grants. Give a boost to the county to develop it, to build roads and all of that, and it gives it up front. So there's not these bonds and stuff that the county has to get just to develop the area.
I've been watching politics for a good part of my life, and I can sometimes say that I see good ideas come along, and unfortunately, if someone isn't popular with a certain segment of the political class, the idea gets put aside. But back in the early 1990s, Howard Stern was a candidate for governor in New York, and part of his platform, he was sick and tired of being stuck in traffic during road construction, so he proposed it be done during the overnight hours when there was the least traffic. And nobody would buy his proposal. And then after the election, he didn't win. He did well, but he didn't win. But after the election, all of a sudden, the state legislature said, we should be doing traffic repairs overnight. And now they do that. So, it's a good. You can have a good idea, but you got to overcome some of the people out there who are, let's just put it this way, they'll do anything they can to prevent you from winning.
Well, if I can, win in that way, that's certainly a win. I do see a ton of momentum in my campaign. We're getting, filling up rooms. We were just the last event we went to. We filled it up, and we actually had to tell people that we're going to be in Twin Falls because the venue couldn't handle all the people that was there. And so we're seeing a great support, and so hopefully we can have it both ways, because this stuff, somebody has to fight for this stuff. Somebody has to fight to actually get property tax eliminated, replaced with a consumption tax. Somebody has to fight, the federal land control in the state so that we can pay our own bills here in Idaho, so we can, take care of this affordable housing crisis that we have. Somebody has to fight for it, and it can't just be an idea. And so, someone's got to fight for it, and that's what I do. That's what I've done. That's who I've become.
I want to mention, if anybody's just joining us, Ammon Bundy is our guest, and is with us for about 5 more minutes this morning. We're at 22. Bill Colley on News Radio 96.1 FM, 1310 KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. It's 8:15. Very quickly, you were telling me off air, and this is something that, you know more about than I do, but there's some discussion going on right now within this state that could drastically change way of life here, people coming here and the like, and something you were very concerned about.
Yeah, so our state policies, as it is coming to welfare and our welfare policies here in Idaho, I think we're really going awry. We're starting, go down a wrong direction. To give you some examples, we don't want to become an Oregon, and Oregon has one of the most robust, if you want to use that term, food stamp programs across the country. Well, Idaho now just increases food stamps, more than any other state in the United States. We've now, and we're not the largest food stamp state, if you will, but we've increased it more than any other state. We've also dumping. Governor Little has designated $200 million for government housing in Idaho. We're also, funding programs such as, assistance for doing drugs. We're not providing the drugs yet, but we are providing, needles and other things by the state. And these are programs that, if we continue to fund and continue to increase, that are going to cause dependency, poverty, crime, homelessness. And I don't understand why we would go down that road. And it's something that we need to correct. And it's something that is concerning here in Idaho. I believe it's the writing on the wall that we all need to be aware of.
I heard yesterday someone told me that one individual alone could get $800 in food stamps a month. I don't eat that much in probably 6 months.
Right. Well, Idaho has increased its food stamps program by 24.2% in the last few years. The closest to that is Nevada at 22.4%, Indiana, and then Utah follow. And so these are things we need to be aware of. Why are we doing this? Why are we attracting the people that are looking for programs? So Idaho is already a beautiful place to live. It's a beautiful place to be in. It's a state that people obviously want to come to. Why would we attract those that want to come to live off of somebody else? I just don't see why we would do that, and don't understand why, Scott Bedke and Governor Little would go down that path.
We got about a minute to go. If you want, recap what's going on tonight.
Yeah, so we're going to be in Twin Falls. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be at the Canyon Crest Dining and Event Center right there in Twin Falls. We start at 6 p.m., and we're inviting anybody to come. Hey, if you're on the fence with me, or maybe you don't even like me, or maybe you just don't know, then come and talk to me. Hear what I have to say, because I guarantee that I'm a lot different than what MSN or CNN has said.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I can be sure.
You and Joe Rogan, I mean, you're both on the wanted posters in those businesses.
Yeah.
Hey, well, thank you much for your time today.
Thank you, Bill. It's always a pleasure.
You too, sir. Thank you. Ammon Bundy joining us this morning on Magic Valley this morning on News Radio 96.1 FM, 1310 KLIX, and newsradio1310.com. We're at 23, almost 8:20. Someday I want to have him back soon because I want to get his take on what's going on north of the border. Because I think that his own past would say that he's probably got a strong opinion on that. And just as we were wrapping up here, I was looking at a graphic on television that was explaining how much in the way of Canadian goods cross into this country through Montana, where you've had some issues at one of the border crossings because of the trucking action. It's an amazing amount of goods that come across, and a lot of those then rattle down Route 15 and make it to Idaho. 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Bill Colley again on Magic Valley this morning. Got a guest coming up in about 10 minutes. His name is Lyle Johnstone. He's a candidate for State House of Representatives. I'll get that out. Give me another couple of seconds.